Hi again, everybody. I have a story here from Anonymous. Dear Ollie, before I start, I just want to say you have changed my life. You have made me see what was so fucked up about my family through your videos. Although this topic is hard and can bring me down, I feel this channel has empowered so many narc victims to come together and heal. I am so sorry I'm not able to donate at this point in time, and understand if you want to cut some of my story. Sorry if it's too long. Please leave me anonymous. This is my story so far. I am 27 years old, from Australia, and went no contact with my mom and sister in February of this year. My therapist was the person that introduced me to narcissism and said, do I think my mother was one? Not knowing what it was, I questioned this and went in denial for a long time. It was, and sometimes still is, hard to accept that my mother never really truly loves or accepts you, and you are there for them as a commodity to feed their supply. My memory of my parents together was my mom enabling my dad to drink. He is an alcoholic. And when they would argue, my mom would say, why don't you have another drink? And so he did. I think I was maybe 6 to 8 years old. My parents separated when I was 6. Over the years, my sister and I had to go and visit him every second weekend, even though he would pass out blind drunk with the front door open. Lately, I have been asking myself why my mother would leave her children with an alcoholic, and I think it's because she didn't want to look after us or take care of us. Yet my sister and I were always blamed for pushing him to drink. If we went to my dad's house and not get smacked with a wooden so hard it would break, it was abnormal, as this was almost a weekly occurrence. We got it so bad that one night my dad got up after being passed out and pissed himself. Still drunk, he then passed out again. My sister and I, both weeping, not knowing what to do, called our mom to pick us up. And when she got us, she said, now you know what I went through. I think she wanted that to happen. She purposely put her own children in a dangerous and damaging situation to make it look like she was the victim. We really didn't go and spend time with my dad after that. He met a woman that made him choose her over his children, and he chose her all the time. Last year, I reconnected with my dad. During the third visit, he told me to my face he wished me and my sister had never been born, and he regrets having us. I stopped contacting him after that, and he denies ever saying it. My mom is what you would describe as a jealous cheerleader. Being the scapegoat, I had to wash, iron, cook dinner for me and my sister most days that I can remember after school. I am surprised the house never burned down, because who in their right mind would get an 8 to 10-year-old to cook home alone? At the age of 13 to 14, my mom called my vagina dirty as it was starting to grow hair, and said I should shave it because guys like this better. When I was 16, I attempted suicide and wrote about it in my diary. My sister stole it and read my attempt out loud, and all my mom could say was, no, you didn't do that. You only felt sad. I tried to overdose on painkillers, and my family did nothing. At age 17, I began dating the guy who would end up being my abusive ex-husband. Learning to drive at the time, pulling up on his driveway, I think I stalled the car or did something wrong, and my mom smacked my head so hard my head banged against the window. By 19, I was engaged and moved out living with his family. During this time, till about 24, my mom constantly made comments about my weight, calling me fat, overweight, that I gained weight, that I need to check myself into a hospital to get help because I was so fat. During this time, my mom got a tummy tuck. My sister enabled my mom's behavior. In 2012, I was the first person on my mom's side of the family to go to university and complete a degree. My mom never came to my graduation, never called or a text to say congratulations. Yet my sister, Precious, completed her degree with honors last year, and my mom couldn't stop boasting about how she now has a daughter that is educated and worked so hard. It's here I start to think, what's the point in doing anything in my life if my family aren't going to acknowledge me? The day I got married, my mother said, "Look how wonderful my daughter looks." She couldn't even say "you look lovely, beautiful." She told me in third person. I attempted suicide another 2 times during my relationship with my ex. He forced himself on me, shoved me into the fridge, and controlled everything about me. If he didn't like what I wore, he would say, you look terrible. Go put on something else. In 2013, the last thing he said to me was, "You have an unattractive personality. Get the fuck out of my life." I had to move back home and live with my mom, sis, and her boyfriend. My mom would say things like, "I still love your ex like a son, and I hope he comes back." I said that I didn't want that to happen, and that if you want a husband that abuses you, then you go out and marry him. I think on some sick, fucked up level, she found him attractive and was jealous and loved that I was being abused by him. While living back home, there was no such thing as boundaries. My mom went into my room, moved things around, cleaned it, took things without asking, took my clothes and wore them without even asking. And when I said something, she took it as a personal attack and says, "Well, it looks better on me than it does you." She put on my formal dress that I hadn't worn in 10 years and said it looked so much better on her than it ever did on me. After I separated from my ex, I started dating my current partner. My mom told me he's a lowlife and has no ambition, and I shouldn't be around that kind, and that he reminds her of my dad. My sister and mom never supported me during my grief after the divorce. They told me to get over it, stop crying, and move on. My sister never hugged me or asked me about my marriage or divorce. It was like they didn't care. I moved out last year in November. Living on my own and working on healing and growing, I suffer from anxiety, which I think holds me back from doing things. Not sure how to work on this. The turning point for me of going no contact was starting a new business in January 2016, and my mom and sister didn't even say congratulations. They didn't even support me. As a scapegoat, I find that I constantly put others first. So the way I went no contact is I asked myself, would I want my future children to be treated this way? Would I want this for them? Would I want this life for them? The answer was no. My question is, Ollie, do you have some days where you feel normal and other days you feel drained, as if you were being sucked by a narc without even interacting with them? Thank you for all you do, and sorry if this was long. Anonymous. Every single one of us has days like one day you're pretty good, the next day you're shit. The reason you go no contact is to stop the abuse right there. So you're not taking on any more water. Because you're a sinking ship. We all are. And until you plug that hole by going no contact, trying to bail the water out that's already flooded is meaningless because the shit's still flowing in. You still have to deal with all that water. And that water has consequences. That water brings memories. As you're bailing it out, bailing it out, bailing it out. But bailing water out as water keeps flowing in, you're just going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. These people were never going to give you any sort of acknowledgement whatsoever. None. You're absolutely right. Your mother sent you there so your father would be drunk so she can garner sympathy and make herself look better. You have been nothing more than a useful pawn for your mother and your sister. Your main question about good days and bad days, yeah. Because you're going to have good days and bad days. It's completely normal. Because even though you've plugged the hole from more narcissism and more of their bullshit coming in, you still got to deal what has already been flooding in for your entire life. And that's why you have the ups and downs. That's why you have the good days and the bad days. That's why they can still affect you even if you're not in direct contact with them. Because you are. Because all this fucking bullshit you got to deal with is from them. You're no contact to stop the leak. What's already flooding in is what you're dealing with now. And that's why you have your ups and downs. So, thank you for your question. I hope it helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you know what to do with the PayPal link in the description box. Send me your story to the email link in the description box as well, and I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Bye.